All right, it is 6:30. I will call to order the Cedarburg School Board meeting for Wednesday, January 17, 2024. This is a regular meeting of the Cedarburg School Board and is a public meeting. Prior notices have been placed in the district and additional copies were forwarded to the city and town of Cedarburg, as well as the News Graphic and Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll begin the evening with some recognitions. State proclamations, Laura Strobel.
There's quite a few of them today. So February 19th through the 23rd is recognition for adult crossing guards. So that week is Adult Crossing Guard Recognition Week. February 17th through the 24th is FFA. And FFA stands for Future Farmers of America, but they are trying to expand what they represent, and it's really a focus on agricultural education. February 12th through the 16th is FCCLA Week, and that is Family, Career, and Community Leadership of America. And February 5th through the 9th is Skills USA Week. February 5th through the 9th is National School Counseling Week. And the entire month of February is Career and Technical Education Month. And all proclamations are available on the District Board Docs webpage. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, consent agenda, Dr. Clark.
All right, with regards to the consent agenda, board members, I ask that you approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on December 20th, 2023, the budget and finance reports, which includes the summary of account, check register, check detail, and credit card transaction reports, and the personnel report. Mr. DeRosa, Director of Human Resources, is here to provide an overview of the personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Good evening. They have some very noteworthy hires with separations this evening to go through. First, I'd like to support approval for the hiring of Brad Fall, educator at CHS, Kayla Young, educator at CHS, and Jennifer Biggis, educator at Webster. And then with our resignations, we have some very notable ones. I'd like to start with support staff member and West Lawn head custodian Heidi Pouts, who is retiring after 31 years of service to the Cedarburg School District. So congratulations to Heidi. And then administratively, we had two separations from the district. After a fantastic career and ending his career in the last 9 years here at the Cedarburg School District, made a ton of monumental changes. Alan Goh is retiring, so we certainly wish Alan the best. And then another resignation after 8 years of outstanding service to the district. A little bit bittersweet to see our Director of Business Services go, but that everyone is resigning and has taken a position with another district. Great opportunity for him, but we are certainly going to miss him.
And just for the record, he's leaving at the end of the year, so we've got him for a few more months, thank goodness.
Same with Alan. We got to soak everything up we can.
Right, exactly.
That concludes the personnel report.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will second that.
All right, got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I'll just say to Alan and Ben, it's a big loss. We're going to, good best of luck to both of you. It's been great. And, but it's not goodbye yet, obviously. You've got a lot of work to do yet this year, so I appreciate that. Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I appreciate how you presented the hires and resignations this evening by acknowledging Heidi and her time with the district. And I can only speak for myself, but I'm very sad to see Ben going and Alan as well. Prior to serving on the board, you both were so kind and gracious with answering questions and doing your best to share factual information and be clear-minded and level. And I don't know that the greater population maybe knows that. So I'm speaking just for myself as, previously a parent that had questions, is interested in curriculum and finance, and could always count on getting an answer from both of you. And I'm sure that whatever comes next, you'll be able to bring those talents to other community members as well.
Anyone else? All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Superintendent's report,
All
Dr.
right.
Clark.
Well, I would agree and concur with everything that was said. Definitely miss both of these gentlemen and the great work they've done in the district over the last number of years. In terms of the superintendent's report, well, it is definitely wintertime in Wisconsin. As you are all aware, we did cancel school last Tuesday and Friday due to inclement weather. The major decision piece for both days was the projection of significant snowfall in the afternoon, which had the potential to significantly impact student safety as they traveled home. This week, we've been experiencing a little chill in the air. I've received a couple questions regarding canceling school due to wind chill. The decision to cancel school based upon wind chill is actually easier than making the call for snow. The deciding factor for wind chill is based upon the National Weather Service issuing a wind chill warning. Essentially, a wind chill warning is issued when the wind chill is -35 or below for a sustained period. Moving inside, our elementary and middle schools are in the midst of their winter assessment period, where students take assessments in both reading and math. We will share a summary of those assessment results during next month's board meeting. This week, our high school students are taking their final exams for the first semester. Next Monday is the start of the second semester and the last half of the school year. That concludes my update, I guess.
All right, thank you, Dr. Clark. Next on the agenda is public comment. Nobody signed up, but is there anyone who wishes to make public comment? Seeing nobody, we will move on to recommendations. Again, Dr. Clark.
All right, this evening we have 3 recommendations. The first recommendation is seeking approval for the 2024-25 open enrollment seat offerings. This request was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and forwarded to the full board for approval. We are offering 1 regular education open enrollment seat for grades 5, 3, 2nd, kindergarten, and 4K. We will have 15 seats at 9th grade and 0 seats at all other grades. We have 0 special education open enrollment seats.
Now, there was some talk at the PNF Personal Finance Committee meeting about it looked like a pretty large number coming in at 9th grade. Do you want to say a few comments about
Yeah, so
that?
again, when we take a look at our high school, the determining factor for open enrollment seats and or determining what class size is really based on our English courses, since every student has to take English. And in a scenario where you have teachers that teach one subject area, English, math, science, social studies, where you may be able to, we might be able to reduce one class, it doesn't actually reduce a teacher. And so the high school is based on a section size of having 11 sections of English, and based on those numbers is where we end up with 15 for this group. We also have 11 sections at 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, but in all those scenarios, we're at our minimum benchmark for class size. We currently have we're projecting a small 8th grade class coming up to the high school next year. That's part of the reason for so many seats in 9th grade, when we didn't have that many last year.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, so we need a motion to approve the open enrollment seats as presented.
I would make a motion to approve the open enrollment seats as presented.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I just had a quick question. Jared, could you remind me when this is looked at again? Was it potentially?
Yeah, so we could look at it in the, more than likely July.
Okay.
And we did that last year and actually took a look at it in August and then came back to the board for some numbers. That primarily was based on our elementary 4K. As we get more registrations in, we're better
Yeah.
able to see what we
Okay.
have for class size.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, good motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously.
All right, the second recommendation is seeking approval for the 2023-24 supplemental teacher compensation. This request was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and forwarded to the full board for approval. Mr. Ben Irwin is here if anybody has any questions to ask.
Good evening. So this is the last piece as we look at teacher compensation for 23-24. It's been discussed a couple of times at the board level and at PNF as well. PNF looked at it earlier this month and discussed mainly the distribution of teacher compensation for supplemental salaries for 23-24. As a reminder, supplemental salaries are anything outside negotiations and the base wages. And so this is a conversation we had regarding that smaller portion of a total teacher compensation makeup and just kind of discussing what that distribution looks like for this year. In August of last year, the board took action for a 4% increase on teacher supplemental salaries. However, after the results of negotiations and the impasse that resulted from that process, we brought it back forward to the board and then PNF now back to the board to discuss distribution. And tonight, PNF is forwarding approval to approve a supplemental wage increase for teachers that is a flat dollar amount of $329.59 per teacher, prorated based on FTE per teacher.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the supplemental teacher compensation 23 to 24.
I would make a motion to approve the supplemental teacher compensation.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I just want to say, Ben, I appreciate being able to take that back to PNF and have a little further information shared about that. It was helpful.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, the last recommendation this evening is seeking approval for the district's long-range master plan. This request was discussed at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting and forwarded to the board for approval. Again, Mr. Ben Irwin is here to answer any questions.
Yep. So we've started to get in the process of making this an annual topic for the Finance Committee to look at as we are able to use funds out of our Fund 46 Capital Improvement Trust Fund. We need to make sure we have a planned out long-term capital improvement plan to align with that. So if we want to use any of those funds, we have a plan approved by the board that's been vetted and planned out thoroughly. So each year, or less this year than last year, we brought this forward to the board to look at some of the main items we're looking at for this upcoming summer, but also down the road as well, and just forecasting what that fund looks like long-term. At PNF, like Dr. Clark mentioned, we looked at it a little bit closer in terms of some of the bigger projects we have pressing for the upcoming summer. Those included HVAC units and the fiberglass panels on the side of the high school. So we had some discussion related to that and bumped those up as potential projects for this upcoming summer, and included them for the summer of 24-25 fiscal year. Beyond that, if you look at the plan, you can see a list of items related to roofs, parking lots, and other larger items. And the first page of the long-term capital improvement plan is just kind of a forecast in terms of how much we're depositing in there versus those ongoing expenses. And so it'll be an item that we'll continue to have discussion on because currently we're in a deficit related to the number of projects we have versus how much we're putting in the fund. So, but for this year, we're looking at some other projects which would use funds but still keep a balance in there at the end of 24-25. Approval of this plan doesn't commit us to any of those projects. What we've been doing in the past is typically presenting this plan to the board for approval and review, or review and approval. And then as that plan's approved, then if we want to move forward with any of them, we bring bids to the board to discuss and review and finally take action at that point if we want to move forward with it. For most of these items, like other B&G projects, usually that occurs sometime over the next couple months, because most of those bids have to be kind of solidified as those contractors work on setting up contracts for the upcoming summer during this kind of time of the year, so they can get ready for June, July, and August when we do most of our larger projects. So, like I said, it's been brought forward to PNF, and tonight we're bringing it forward to the board for approval.
Again, it's just the, a plan that we can use to at least the groundwork for being able to access the funds for these projects down the line. And it kind of shows the importance of continuing to fund Fund 46, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, you can see the deficit of it, and eventually some of those items have to be replaced or repaired. And the nice thing is, we review this every year, so we're able to say, review items and say, okay, maybe we can get a couple more years out of it so we can push it out. And so that's part of that process to say, how much can we get out of these and still be efficient for what we're using and keep our buildings open.
Great. I would take a motion to approve the district's long-term master plan as presented.
I will make that motion to approve the long-term capital improvement plan as presented.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention. So we've got 6 yes, 1 abstention. Ms. Kincaid is abstaining. All right. Committee reports. Personnel and Finance, Kate Netzel.
So we met on January 3rd, and items on the agenda included the open enrollment seats, which we've discussed, also the budget calendar for 24-25, and also just a glance at the, more than a glance, at the budget for 24 and 25, which will help us in planning as we move forward. In addition, we also talked about the long-term capital improvement plan and the teacher supplemental compensation, and we will be meeting again on March 13th.
All right, thanks. And we have Curriculum Committee, Elizabeth Charlin.
Yes, we met on January 10th, and we had 2 agenda topics. The first was a K-8 English Language Arts curriculum pilot update with Benchmark and Amplify CKLA being piloted at the elementary level, and Study Sync and Into Literature being piloted at Webster. And the focus of this meeting regarding the pilot was regarding assessments. And coming up next with the ELA pilots, February 7th, we plan on discussing end of trial feedback as well as getting recommendations from the staff and coaches and Alan who have been working on that big project. Again, if you have an interest in literacy, highly recommend coming to the February 7th meeting. It's really interesting to learn about the different curriculums, and it's a really big decision that our district will be making with a significant cost investment as well. The second topic we discussed was AP World History pilot. That textbook is needs to be an updated textbook, and we are piloting 3 textbooks, and we got access at that meeting. And our next meeting is February 7th.
Thank you. All right, so now I would take a motion to adjourn into executive session to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility pursuant to 19.851C of the Wisconsin statutes. This would include A, consideration of teacher market adjustments for specific teachers. B, superintendent mid-year evaluation. It is anticipated the board may reconvene into open session and may take action on one or more of the executive session items. We'll also have the approval of minutes in the executive session meeting minutes of December 20, 2023. So do I have such a motion?
I motion to move
Go ahead.
to executive session.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote on this motion. Charlin?
Aye.
Strobel?
Aye.
Netzel?
Aye.
Kincaid?
Aye.
Erickson?
Aye.
Savaji?
Aye.
And career is also an aye. So that motion passes, and we are adjourned into executive session. Thank you.